Thank you for visiting my RC channel. My name is Bill and I'm an RC radio control enthusiast, and I also do RC reviews. Thank you for joining me for this review of this Geelang hobby X-UFO 85X 3 to 4 cell Cinewhoop FPV racing drone, supplied courtesy of Geekbuying.com to review and share with you. Comes in this nice case. We've got a nice handle on it. Good zipper. Fairly hard, not completely hard shell. This isn't foam, but like a solid fitting for this. Got a pouch in the lid here with the instruction manual. USB to micro USB cable. This bag with a star Phillips screwdriver. Spare battery mat. Spare propellers. Osd menu board. Spare battery strap. And a Cadex tarsier bag. See what that is when I open it. And a hex Allen key, which is nice to see. Come with this too. This is a bind and fly version, and you can get it with a Fly Sky TBS Crossfire or FR Sky D16 switchable receiver, or you can get it plug and play without a receiver. Now, it's a very interesting design, and I actually think it's a very good design, because if one really looks closely, here's the micro SD card slot for the Cadex Tarsier 4K camera, easy access for the USB port, the heatsink for the camera on the top, easy access to buttons here and over here. Quite a lot of attention to detail, even down to securing the 5.8 gigahertz antenna at the back here, and also for the 2.4 gigahertz antenna having a hole coming out the back here. The battery mat to help secure. The design and the thickness of the struts for the ducts gives it a lot of strength, but still a bit of flexibility. There's a little connection for the OSD for the FPV camera coming out the bottom here. Perhaps not the best battery strap. This is just a silicone fixed strap, so will limit versatility with batteries. Would have been better to have something adjustable or something more elastic, but it's just held on with a T-piece here. Easier to get these on than off, I would imagine. I might have to make a modification to try it with a different strap. But the design does look good, very sleek. You've got a little air ducts coming in over the top here, quite open here for cooling too. And the Caddx Tarsier is a nice camera to have. I've used it already. It's got this dual lens, and this comes with a Nd8 filter, and this is 4K for video and a lens for 1200 TVL FPV. Comes with a Supra F4 Matic 411 flight controller, 12 amp BHEL Heli S 4-in-1 D-Shot 600 ESCs with these Geelang 1204 5000 kV brushless motors attached. And these Emax 2035 2-inch 4-blade propellers that screw on, which is good. The VTX is a 25, 100 and 200 milliwatt 5-band 40 channel VTX with race band and smart audio ready, and should have a range of at least 300 meters. The battery that comes with this is a 4-cell 260 mAh 14.8 volt LiPo battery with a 40C up to a burst of 80C rating. Nice size, and has XT30 battery plug connection. There is a big buzzer that I can sort of see hidden away in here, and although this antenna is at the back here, I could imagine this flying at a pitch should be okay at an angle like that. The Caddx Tarsier camera, as I pointed out, you can plug in the OSD board to change settings, and I'll show you this. And you can change the 4K camera settings by connecting to Wi-Fi, because the Caddx Tarsier camera has Wi-Fi. If you press and hold one of these buttons for 5 seconds or longer, you can connect to the Wi-Fi with a Caddx app to change settings too. Let's have a look at the weight. This weighs 80 grams without a battery. If we add on the battery that comes with it, it comes in at 115 grams. I might also try it with this 3-cell 650 mAh gold battery with a 75C rating. And this would come in at 138 grams. And I'll try it lighter with this Happy Model 300 mAh LRHV battery. That will only come in at 109 grams. The manual for this just comes on this piece of paper, telling us that all versions of the receiver are placed at the bottom for access to the bind button, how to connect the FR Sky version, the switchable AF HDS 2A version, DSMX version. You can download the full manual at this web address, www.geelang.com. references for Betaflight settings, and the VTX 5.8 GHz setting method manually if you don't use smart audio using your radio control sticks, and some safety instructions. Also get this CADX camera quick guide giving all the functions and features and how to use it. And I do know that you have to format the SD card you want to use this using the CADX app for it to work properly. After you insert an SD card formatted in FAT32, and never insert the SD card while it is powered on. Let me get my radio controller ready to bind with this. So mine has come with the FlySky receiver. So I've set up my Jumper T12 multi-protocol radio controller here on mode multi, and it's important that this must be set to FS2A and ppm.ibus, and then get ready to bind. And the bind button is over here, so need to hold the bind button down before plugging in a battery, and then you'll see a blue light flashing. You then hit bind on the radio controller to bind. The blue light will still continue flashing. Then power off the radio controller, power it back on, and you will see a solid blue light on the receiver, and this will be at bound. And then this Tarsier package has the Nd8 filter that goes onto the lenses in the front here and actually fits on here quite securely. So when I do the test flight, I'll do it with the Nd8 filter on too. And here you can see the other spares that come with this. I'm going to connect it up to Betaflight and share the settings with you. And the micro USB port to plug into Betaflight is situated over here. And that is why we get this micro USB cable with this extra long section here to plug in like this. So this is it connected to Betaflight configurator 10.5.1, and the first thing I always recommend is do a backup and back up this file before you make any changes. And I back up the default into a default directory, and it's also good to back up the CLI. If you're not sure how to back up the CLI, just do a search for backing up CLI and you will find a lot of information on that. So if you have a problem, this is always good to restore at a later stage. Now these are my settings and my configuration that I've put in. So if we look at ports, we've got on UART1 the VTX RC tramp protocol for smart audio enabled, and on UART2 serial RX. If we look at the configuration, Quad X D-Shot 600, I've turned off don't spin the motors when armed because I actually prefer the motors to spin when armed. Craft name X-UFO 85X 4K, I've left as it is. And over here for receiver, make sure it's serial based receiver, and on iBus for FlySky receiver. And we've got soft serial, telemetry, LED strip, OSD, anti-gravity and dynamic filter enabled here, and RX lost turned on over here. Under beeper configuration, everything enabled. Power and battery was set a little bit higher. I've reduced minimum cell voltage to 3.1, maximum to 4.4, and warning cell voltage to 3.3. Failsafe set to drop. Oh, let's go to receiver. So here I had to change it to TAER 1234. And then if you want to check and see whether this is responding correctly, plug a battery into the drone and you should see your responses appear here. Modes, I've got arm, disarm, auxiliary 1, angle mode on auxiliary 3, horizon on auxiliary 3. I've set up horizon because with this being a Cinewhoop, I want more stability for the camera more than anything else. And got beeper on auxiliary 4 and air mode on auxiliary 3. Go to the OSD. I've got all these features enabled. You can select and choose which ones you like, and also drag and drop to wherever you want the various things here. So here are all the layouts of what I got for OSD. LED strip, this is the configuration for LED strip. And then when you finish making all your changes, it's always good to back up your CLI again and the backup file I showed you in the beginning. And if we go to the top of the CLI here, you can see that the target is Matic F411 version 3.5.7, dated March the 15th, 2019. Now there are updates for the firmware. I've not updated it yet because the website really said this should come with version 4.0.2 or 4.0.3, and the latest version is 4.0.6. So I will probably update the firmware at a later stage. And then I've got the OSD menu board plugged into this little extension I showed you earlier. And if I press down on here, we get the main menu. And then to navigate, this is like a joystick. Just pull down, go to the right, press enter to enter into something. So day night, I've got it on auto. Move down, return. So if we have a look here now, okay, I've got the Nd8 filter on here, or else it would be in better color. There we go. So in the main menu, we've got AE. If I press enter here, this is brightness, exposure mode, advanced. There. WB, if I enter here, it's just got the mode. Day night I've shown you already. Image enhancements. Here you can change the contrast, the sharpness, color gain, 3D and R. Video settings, go in here. Here you can see the HD format. Image ratio, you can change to 4:3 or 16:9. I'm going to leave it on 16:9. You can go horizontal inverted or vertical inverted. Wide dynamic range. Select language and do a reset. Here you can save and exit, or exit straight away. These are the Osd settings for the FPV camera if you use this menu board, or else on your radio controller you can center your left stick and push it to the left and your right stick upwards, and you'll be able to change these settings using smart audio. Okay, and then for the 4K camera we've got to connect to Wi-Fi. So by default the Caddx Tarsier camera is set to start recording when it's plugged in, and then press and hold this button over here for 5 seconds or a bit longer. If I press here, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, and release. And then on the Wi-Fi you'll see Caddx and some letters and numbers to connect to the Caddx camera Wi-Fi. Now it's saying connected. Go to the Caddx app after you've installed it and click on enter. Here we go, we've got connected and we've got Wi-Fi FPV. You can take a picture or start recording by pressing this red button here. But let's have a look. We press on the settings cog here. Here you can change resolution, you can change the video segment size. I'll just show you here. Auto, or up to 10 minutes per video segment. You can choose time-lapse, audio, video encoding, meter mode, AWB, exposure, ISO, LDC, electronic image stabilization, and leave electronic image stabilization off. Only if you find that the video is being a bit shaky, try and turn this on to see if it helps. Otherwise it's best left off. Bitrate, contrast, sharpness, and saturation. But if we go to the top here, we click on device settings. Here we've got start action, and here you can choose the start action, either last mode, normal video, loop video, time-lapse video, slow motion video, and photo. So I've got video and photo on because it'll take 4K video and also take a photo every 2 seconds. Here you can change the Wi-Fi ID and password, have your video standard PAL or NTSC, version mode on or off. It's on because the camera I think has been put on the other way around. You can choose auto sync time, factory reset, and here's where you format the SD card, and it's important that you do format it with this app for it to work properly. And if we look at information, we can see that this is app version 1.5 and which firmware version it is. So those are the settings in the app. And have you noticed how cool these LEDs are on this? And let me just show you how I put the SD card in. So we'll use a minimum class 10 U3 SD card, and then this just slides in underneath here, press down, and it clips in securely. Unfortunately there's no safety clip to hold this, so if this had a really hard crash there is a possibility the SD card can pop out, unfortunately. And never put an SD card in while the craft is powered on. And now finally to the action. Let's go and see how it performs, get some video, get some pictures, and also see what flight duration we get on these two batteries. Let's see how this Geelang X-UFO goes on this little 3S 300 mAh battery. Holding quite steady, getting pushed a little bit by the wind on the right there. Let's just take it up and get some video here. responding well. I got low battery warning, bring it in. See how it goes with the 4-cell 260 mAh battery that comes with this. That's the FPV camera footage and also the flight times of those batteries. And here's a sample clip of the 4K camera that's been rendered down into 1080p for inclusion for this video, but I'll put a link in the description where you can see the full 4K video quality that this camera can produce. And I'll also have a link at the end of this video that you connect to watch that too. So it flies nicely, it's stable, does take good video. I'm quite happy with the quality. And as it's a Cinewhoop, I haven't put it through its paces as a racer, because I believe a Cinewhoop should be for taking good video and photos, although this can also perform quite well on a racetrack or doing freestyle too. So a great 85mm Cinewhoop. So please subscribe, like, comment and share if you like my videos.